Didn't want to take your precious jewels and take them out of your car, drive right into the building. It was a lot safer that way, right? Now, that elevator for cars gave rise to a rumor with this building that it used to be a speakeasy for Al Capone. Turns out there was a nightclub in the top of that tower, but in the 1930s, well after Al Capone had left town. But if you want to go to a nightclub that's still in service to this day, that was originally owned by Al Capone, up on the north side of the city, if you go to the Green Mill, it's open late most nights. They have live music. It's like you walk right into the 1940s.
Oh,
And if you come
kayaking.
out from underneath the bridge, we're heading into the groovy 1960s. Over here on the right, very iconic towers in Chicago, looking like corn on the cob. This is Marina City. Bertrand Goldberg is the name of the architect here, but it was a social scientist trying to change the way that people live. You see, back in the 1960s, not a lot of people lived downtown. They work here, they go home to the suburbs at night. So Bertrand Goldberg built Marina City as a city within the city. Apartments up above, down parking down below. Inside the building, stores, restaurants, fitness center. Used to have an ice skating rink in there. Still has a bowling alley. Used to have a movie theater, which is now the House of Blues. Marina City, an introvert's dream, right? You can live your whole life without ever getting out of your pajamas in a building like that. It's very popular for folks to live downtown today, but it took architects like Bertrand Goldberg to get people down here. They call it Marina City because there's a place to park your yacht, which was very surprising in the 1960s because this was a very polluted waterway back then. You wouldn't want to spend a lot of time on the Chicago River in the 1960s. Today, that's all changed. Take a look over to your left. You can see we've added about a mile of new shoreline to the city with our Riverwalk. It's a great example of a positive use. As more folks come down to the river, the more interested they are in keeping the river clean. And as the river gets bigger and cleaner, the more people come down and visit. And it keeps getting better and better. And guess what? You are some of those people. So we're glad to have you on the river here today. Now, the next building we're going to take a look at is a great example of how architects here in Chicago respect their architectural heritage. Over here on the left, you see this building that changes about 3/4 of the way down. The part that's closest to us from the 1920s, the annex in the back, and the roof from the 1980s. This is the Builders Building. Now take a look at the section from the 80s. You'll see it's built with modern materials and in a modern technique. But as we get closer and closer to it, compare and contrast the two different sections. You start to realize that that newer section, though it doesn't exactly copy what's come before, it is inspired by the older section of the building. It still respects its architectural heritage. As we come out from underneath the bridge, you can take a closer look at the Builders Building on our left. Once you're done on your left, we're going to come across the river. Take a look at the style of architecture we'll see all over the city. Over on the right, this big wide building with the green pyramid on the top. Now let's take a look at some of the details first. Drawing vertical lines up the surface of the building, leaving the little setbacks at the top. All of that draws your eyes up the building, making for a very optimistic style of architecture. This is Art Deco from the Roaring '20s, right? Anytime you see a building like this with soaring vertical lines, setbacks at the top, more often than not, it will be that Art Deco style. This building is the merchandise part. This is where merchants in Chicago would shop for goods for their stores back in the early 1930s. So you wouldn't shop for a couch here, but the shop that you shop at might shop here for 5,000 couches, if that makes that any clearer for you. Out front of the building, you'll see there are these pillars with busts of some famous American